Hello everyone, welcome to the Algorand Global Community All Hands. My name is Summer. I'm the Head of Community CN at the Algorand Foundation. It's a great pleasure for me to hold this Community All Hands in June. So this month we have just celebrated the third year anniversary of the Algorand MainNet launch. A marvelous journey with zero downtime and the rapid growth of the ecosystem. And there were lots of amazing events held in the past few weeks. We'll get to that later. So a quick intro of the guest speakers here. Joining me here today are my colleagues, our digital marketing manager, Ronan Breen, our COO, Jason Lee, and the amazing Shamir Ozari, who recently joined the foundation team as the head of Web3 from Algorand Inc. Great to have you here. As you might know, this All Hands is featured with an NFT fireside chat. We have invited 4 young but thriving Algorand NFT projects to share their stories. Let's welcome Tian, the project lead from Tigerchi, Leo Ock, the founder of PoppinPuffins, Ari, the project manager from G-raffe, and Frank Bossi, aka NFT Watchdog from TrailMArt. A huge welcome to you guys. Thanks for joining and look forward to our chat later. Cool. Okay, and give everyone a quick rundown of today's all hands. Next slide, please. Yeah, so firstly, Jason will cover some of the key dates for the governance program. Then we'll share the recent held and upcoming events, which you won't miss for the world. After that, Shamir will share some insights into Web3 and NFTs. Many of you have submitted questions regarding NFTs, and you will be able to find your answers from Shamir's session. Okay, last but not least, we'll come to the exciting NFT fireside chat with an open floor for questions. So please make sure to ask any questions you like in the chat box on the right side of the screen. Okay, cool, awesome. Without further ado, let's get started. Jason, over to you for governance updates.
Hi everyone, welcome. Before I start on the governance update, thanks to all who have come in online. A bit of interaction, maybe share which country you're from, and if you are part of a project, a DApp, let us know which project it is. It would be great to do a shout out. I see Akio from Japan, Ben from Canada, Liu from USA, Tom from Belgium. Oh, it's everyone coming. People from Upside Finance, Zscape, oh gosh, it's just rims of people from everywhere. Glad to see all of you. And just so good and amazed by the community we have. France, Brazil, Slovenia, Wakanda, and yes, Planet Algo. We are all part of the Algo fam there. I'll let you keep going. I want to talk about the Algorand governance. So we have completed our governance period, or we will be completing officially just before midnight on 1st of July. And the rewards distribution will come in the first week, followed by the next period from the 1st to 15th July. Now that it's complete, it actually marks a number of important milestones. First off, participation was the largest ever, a voting stake of 3.5 billion algos, representing for the first time the absolute majority in circulating supply. Now, what was also remarkable is that since voting in governance, it requires the commitment for the entire term, and the period included, obviously, the collapse of USD and Luna. We saw a massive sell-off in the crypto market, but among the Algorand governors, only 10% stake had left the commitment during the term. Now, this really reflects on you, the Algorand community, and your belief in the ecosystem and in us, and we thank you for that. Also, for the first time, we had a governance bid which has more than two measures itself. Measure 1 requested votes on granting DeFi projects governance status based on the average TVL and voting power twice the daily average to the end of the year. And Measure 2 requested a vote on a mechanism by which everyone in the community can propose measures and then expert governors or ex-govs vote to promote them to the governance ballot. So as we believe in the votes, Measure 1 was supported by only 33% of the vote, while Measure 2 approved by a 98.69% majority. So since both measures were supported by the foundation, the result of Measure 1 also marks the first time in which the governance community expressed an opinion that was different from the soft recommendation of the foundation. And it again shows the nature of how we believe as a foundation that every governor has the ability to vote and choose. Now, given the rejection of the proposed implementation, we are now restarting debate, the original discussion in involving different kinds of blockchain participants, but we still believe in the evolution of the ecosystem and that all categories of players should have a role in governance and every voice needs to be heard and their roles can be structurally incentivized. So we will continue to have that conversation. The foundation ultimately is committed to achieving the goal of an active and fully representative governance, helping the growth of the ecosystem and based on more solid principles which encourages healthy debates. And this includes what we've seen in the result in Measure 1. So we will come back to the community with a more detailed description and solutions sketched out for the next vote. And the community will have time to assess and comment what is best for everyone, and we can discuss this together. And just to answer some of the questions that came through, some came through the forums, through social media, and I'll address some of them, and the rest of it can continue to be addressed online. So one big question is, can we get the governance voting question put up earlier? The question is, absolutely, that is the intention. What we may even do is we may discuss a preliminary voting question that is up for discussion, and then we will post a final voting question that will be on the official governance dashboard. So to those who are very interested, keep an eye on the forums because that will be our communications channel. And another question is that, is there a new plan for governance DeFi? Do we still want to include DeFi now that there was a vote that was different than the foundation's recommendation? What we want to say is that this whole premise of a governance DeFi is actually a response to the community's request to include different various categories of players, not just DeFi, even the NFT space and other sectors. So we will try to facilitate further discussion. It may not be based on the concept of TVL, which I know has many comments, but ultimately we do want to see participation across the sectors. And so we will look into other means, and that will be a conversation together with the community, specifically on Algorand governance. So that's some of the questions that we address. I wish I could share more and have more time to answer this, but we do have an amazing lineup of people speaking later. So I'll move on to the next part of the slide, which is what had happened in the last couple of weeks, community updates and events. First off, we had our major event of the industry known as Consensus. We estimated about 15,000 attendees, which another 20 more thousand were in the sidelines, being in Austin, Texas. And we had our own AVM in Austin. And that was a fantastic event. Just sharing some stats, we had over 2,000 registrations, 5,000 that actually live streamed in real time. And in person itself, we had over more than 500 people attending. And not more than 500, more than 500 to 600 Web3 devs who had actually registered for the event, which is amazing. And over 800 plus in terms of Algorand wallets collected through the registration. We consider this a success. We even ended with drinks with a ping pong competition at the end, which made it much fun. This is an Algorand cap to those who attend. So if you're attending an event, there'll be swags like this available for you. I mean, who wants a swag like this? Say I in the chat, and we'll try to find a way for you to get this swag if you can attend some of these events. And during Consensus itself, we had many of our partners who were speaking in Consensus. That include Stacey Warden, our CEO for the foundation. She moderated a panel as well as made a keynote address during that event. And we had a lot of activity happening in Consensus itself. Move to the next slide. We also had the inaugural AVM Austin, which I mentioned, and that included all our partners that had came through the ecosystem. So if you missed that AVM Austin, it is available on live stream. So just go to our Algorand Foundation YouTube channel and you can look into it. And the next slide, we'll look into, we also had a women's breakfast, which was pretty amazing, where we had many of the women represented across the industry. Many had even flew out and driven to Austin itself, which was really exciting. And we had Stacey there in person, engaging with everyone there. And we also had another one in NFT NYC. So in the next slide, I'll share a little bit about what happened there. In NFT NYC, Algorand Foundation also participated and supported that. So if you move to the next slide, we had First off, an Algorand community mixer in the top left corner, where we had founders, NFT creators, Web3 corporate executives in a 360-degree LED screen venue. Over 1,600 RSVPs with 400 people attending, with people lining up trying to get in, and they couldn't get in. There were bouncers in the front. It was really exciting, and we had so many things happening during that time. If you wanted to see, there's also like a video from our partners at Startup Boost that they created a summary video, which was pretty exciting. You can have a look at it. And we also partnered with Art Republic and Samsung. We had a full house there. If you see in the bottom right screen, there was a 3-feet story placed with NFT Algorands placed there. And with our head of Web3, Shamay, speaking at Consensus as well. A lot had happened at NFT NYC. In the next slide, you'd see we also had a women's breakfast, just as we had in Austin, very well received, very warm group, and we're really great to see diversity and women in leadership stepping up as well. The other thing that we wanted to mention is that we did have a number of different roundtables with NFT partners in New York, and also in Austin we had DeFi roundtables. So we're engaging more of the community as a foundation to really ensure that people are part of the conversation if they have any questions at all. One thing that is not in the slide that you should go check it out is that we had one of our partners, Andrea Bonaccetto, had his artwork, a big screen splash at Times Square. And that's a big testament as well towards NFT art on Algorand itself. And we're quite excited to see more Algorand art come in. We had many of our developer advocates, our partners speaking at NFT at NYC itself. And rumor has it there were more than 35,000 people in New York, in Times Square, being part of the NFT NYC festivities. So we're glad to be part of that. Now, we are also going to have many events in the upcoming weeks and months ahead. I'll pass it to Summer to share on that.
Thank you, Jason. Great recap. I'd like to actually give a shout out to our team who made these events possible, and also to our amazing Algo community. It's your participation which made our events great. Okay, moving into second half this year, we have more events coming up. In July, you will be able to meet with the Algorand team in ETH Barcelona and Panama for the Blockchain Summit Latam. In middle July, we are back to New York with our partner Invision Racing for a 2-day championship and a community meetup. Late July, please join us in Singapore for the Blockchain Week, where you can meet the local team and listen to Jason's keynote in the conference. On the other hand, if you are in Europe, be sure to join our community event in London on July 29th. And starting from August, there are several events in APAC I'd like to highlight in advance. In early August, Algorand will be in Seoul, Korea to engage with local university students during the Korean Blockchain Week. Later that week, we'll be co-hosting a community meetup with our partner Invision Racing, where you might be able to win a VIP ticket to the championship that weekend. And in September, behold, our AVM World Tour will come to its second station in Singapore, alongside the Token Tour for Night event. You will be able to embrace the Algorand ecosystem there, and especially the projects from APAC region. And for developers, you will be able to join the Greenhouse Hack on the spot. It will be an amazing week for everyone. And in October, Algorand will be at the Blockchain Expo Tokyo, showcasing our technology and use cases to a group of more than 10,000 entrepreneurs, developers, and investors from both the traditional and the blockchain industries. There will also be side events for the Algo fam in Tokyo around that time. And the big news, November will witness the annual Algorand event, Decipher 2022 in Dubai. So save the date, join us in the second annual community gathering on November 28th. That's Decipher the future on Algorand. Exciting second half, huh? And lastly, a kind reminder for developers, make sure you check the list to current ongoing dev events listed here. You can still participate in Algo Hack Jam before July 8th and the Greenhouse Hack before August 22nd. I know what everyone is thinking about right now. Okay, I'm intrigued. Where are the registration links? Next slide, please. So the simple answer will be follow the event page on the Algorand Foundation website. We will put the event links there for your access, and please check this page regularly and you won't be missing any of our events. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to meet with our community there in person. Great. Coming up next in our agenda, we'll have Shamir sharing his insights into Web3 and NFTs. Shamir, over to you.
Hello, can you hear me okay, Summer? All right. Yeah, it's nice to meet everyone. Hello. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names here in the chat, so it's great to connect. And I have to say, like, I was told to start at the very basics. I was told that we got submissions of like, what is an NFT? So like truly basics, but just looking at the names here, I think we can advance a little further. So a little about myself to those who might not know me. Shamir Azari. I've been in Bitcoin since 2014, blockchain since 2016, NFTs since 2016 or 17. Sorry, that's when they really started. And then I've spent the last 2.5 years or so on the Algorand Inc. side as a marketing programs director, recently appointed head of Web3. I get to work with wonderful people, including in my department, the very wonderful Addie and PG, who again, a lot of you may know. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's talk about NFTs. So, well, let's talk about Web3, right? So first of all, you know, when we talk about Web3, it's a very abstract term, and there's a really good quote that I like, right? Which I just wanted to bring to your attention. The internet owned by the builders and users, orchestrated by tokens, right? So if Web 1 was kind of this read-only, decentralized, you know, web where you basically have forms, but not a lot of engagement, you know, Web 2 brought fast streaming, e-commerce, social media channels. And essentially it's kind of this read-write web, right? Where everyone is their own publisher. But as we know, you have some powerful organizations, some powerful corporations that really they're the middlemen, right? They're the gateway. They decide what goes out, what doesn't. So Web3 is kind of this read, write, own, and transact web where essentially every one of us can be our own economy. So that's kind of how we're thinking of it. And when we say orchestrated by tokens, again, those tokens can be anything from cryptocurrencies to NFTs. Next slide, please. I'm going to put the chat down here so I don't get distracted. So what is an NFT? I was just told that this is a question that came up, so I wanted to put the definition here. It's a unique, easily verifiable digital asset that lives on a blockchain. So again, it's a one of one, a token like any other cryptocurrency, except for the fact that it is unique. It is not duplicate, right? And anyone can typically see it, but only one person can own it. Let's move on. I don't want to stay on that. And then, yeah, you know, when we talk about, okay, so who cares? Like, why do we need NFTs? How do they actually help us? This is just a partial list, right? So if you think of it, access and perks. If you might know Gary V. He came up with V Friends. I think that's a really good example of you buy his NFTs, and if you are a groupie of Gary V, then suddenly you have access to his conference. You might have access to his time, certain events, things like that. Think of subscriptions, right? Think of creators being able to give some of their time, some of their access to their fans and followers. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about the creative economy. So it's access to either content or people or a network or a network of people, and perks, right? Bored Apes do that very, very well. We were at NFT NYC. They had Ape Fest. I do not have a Bored Ape. I was not able to go, right? That's just how it is. So they make it exclusive. And again, they give their holders some unique perks and benefits. Philanthropic, there are a lot of examples there, you know, Ukraine DAO and a bunch of others. Goes without saying, right, that NFTs can represent some kind of token for what I believe in and something I want to contribute to. Governance, we talk a lot about governance when it comes to DAOs, whether it's a token that represents myself or it's a token that just represents my share within kind of that larger organism, then NFTs can be utilized for governance. Obviously financial, right? So I think what we're seeing right now is really the tip of the iceberg. I talked to a lot of people about this. At the end of the day, NFTs are not profile pictures, right? This is just the beginning. And I think that over the next few years, we're going to see NFTs become increasingly financialized. You're already seeing this, obviously. But my point being that today, we don't only have financial use cases. A lot of people buy NFTs in order to sell them at a higher price. That is utility, but it's not the right kind of utility, right? So at the end of the day, you need it to produce something. You need it to provide some kind of value. Assuming it does, that's when the price, can potentially go up. My argument, by the way, is that when that is the only reason that people buy NFTs for price go up, that means that we're in a bubble. And that's when you should probably double think that strategy. Social flexes, right? So if I do own a Bored Ape, or in the case I do own a CryptoPunk, that is a way for me to say, hey, I was early to the space, right? And that's just one way to communicate that. And then community, tribe, identity. So my thesis, my hypothesis about everything in life, including, our communities that we live in and blockchain and NFTs, even more so, is that it is all about defining who we are. And we do that by proxy of the tribes that we belong to, right? The people that resonate with us, the ideas, the vision, the mission. So I think NFTs are really a good way for people to, again, define that in a public manner. Next slide, please. So, okay, so you're sold on NFTs. Why NFTs on Algorand? I'm going to summarize it with like 2 words, best tech. I think we can, if you want me to, I'll go through some of these, but it really comes down to that, right? Carbon neutral, we all know that. Fast and scalable. If you use MetaMask, you know what I'm talking about. Where the user experience is not the best. Near zero transaction costs, we know that, right? Less than 1/10 of a penny for a transaction on Algorand. I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm just going to repeat that here because AlgoFam know all of these things. I feel like this is redundant, but I will assume that there's some new people here that need this intro. So I'm gonna say it nevertheless. Advanced functionality, right? So by being layer 1, by having different standards, different NFTs can solve different problems, whether it's baked in royalties like in ARC 18, whether it's programmability or evolvability in ARC 19. There are a lot of different standards, still very much a moving target, but I think at the end of the day, Algorand's NFTs are really going to stand out in their unique functionality and their ability to scale to millions of users. Never duplicate, so no fork. Imagine you have a deed to a house that is an NFT, and then that is sitting on a blockchain that forks. Right now you have 2 NFTs and a really, really big problem. So whether it's stable coins, right? Like the fact that Algorand doesn't fork, I think, is an underestimated feature within the system. And then best community. Again, just look at the people here. Enough said. Next slide, please. So I'm going to tell you, I know that our time is short. I'm going to try to kind of wrap this up in 2 minutes. I could talk about it for 2 hours easily. But I just wanted to give you a slight kind of, or maybe the tip of the iceberg of how we're thinking about things when it comes to growing our NFT ecosystem, at least in the short term. So in the short term, really, I think, first of all, when you start looking at the numbers, you realize that there are a lot more Algorand users than there are Algorand NFT collectors. So we're looking to create some cross-pollination. I've had some discussions with Daniel Oon, who is our head of DeFi, and definitely some other people on the team, about how do we activate, the power DeFi users, the governors. We know there are tens of thousands of these people who are not necessarily in the NFT space. So I think we need to be a little bit better about creating this cross-pollination and better momentum. Furthermore, by recent data that I saw, actually just today I was reading, if you look at the people who are collecting NFTs over the last couple months, it's actually a really good way to onboard new users into the DeFi ecosystem. So it really works both ways, and we're looking to create a little more about that. The benefits of cross-pollinating, I think, are pretty clear, right? Because these are people who are already, again, probably most of the people here, very familiar with how things work. You already have algo. It really is a matter of finding the right community, the right team, the right project that resonates with you, and taking that first step. So that's kind of the first pillar, right? With the existing DeFi ecosystem. The second pillar is looking at collectors from other chains. So when I say collectors from other chains, a lot of you have heard about the 1 million migration program that we've been kicking off with Terra. We have some representation in the house. I actually want to listen to their story. But the idea really is to engage with projects and communities that are currently working on other chains, and for one reason or another, just not being able to fulfill what it is that they're looking to do, whether it's because they're, you know, maybe building on Ethereum and the throughput isn't fast enough, or transaction fees are just too high, or maybe it's on another blockchain that starts with an S that just breaks, right? So for whatever the reason, we want to be as accommodating as possible and make it and lower the entry barrier as much as we can, both for projects and the collectors. And then not to mention, right, our own existing ecosystem, we definitely want to empower and strengthen, whether it's the marketplaces, the projects, and existing collectors in a way that really benefits everyone and creates the synergy, right? This isn't a silo. Everything needs to work together. And that's how we think of it. I really think that, again, it comes down to the best tech. Algorand has it. As soon as someone tries Algorand, as soon as someone buys one Algorand NFT, I equate this to the farmer's market where you're giving cookie samples, right? And the moment you take that cookie, the moment you try Algorand, you know. Not only do you know, but you're going to want more of it. So again, I think the key is to really having more people experience the benefits of NFTs on Algorand. When it comes to collectors from other chains, again, relatively low entry barrier. They're familiar with NFTs. They might be looking for the next big project or chain. Hello, we're Algorand. They're very conditioned to having to going through a bad user experience. Algorand solves that. And then the third pillar, all right, and I'll wrap up there, is, and I do think, to be fair, that this is something that we're doing right now, but you're going to see more and more of it as we go, is bringing on onboarding established organizations and creators. I hope that everyone here knows about the collaboration with FIFA. You heard about Napster, right? That was recently announced, and really turning Napster, which was a Web 1 product, into a Web 3 product. So that kind of thing gets me excited. And bringing just established creators who are able to bring their own fans. Now, I won't lie to you, right? We all know there's some friction on that 0 to 1, on going from, oh, I want that NFT, to actually having it in your wallet. If we think of the mainstream, right? Seed phrases, passive, it's not seamless, right? And there is a lot of friction. That's why we're going to be putting a huge emphasis on access and onboarding new people from Web 2 into this kind of Web 3 ecosystem. And as soon as that onboarding, on-ramping is frictionless, then game over, right? Because we have the ecosystem at that point. It's frictionless to join. And for creators, it's just going to be a no-brainer. I don't think there will be too many other options that would be any more appealing. I think that's it. So I guess on that note, I'll just say thank you. I am going to catch up now on the chat and see what I can answer. And we also have some questions that we'll save for the end. Looking forward to hearing from the projects.
Thank you. Thank you, Shamir, for this informative intro to NFTs. Indeed, best tech fosters best NFT projects, and that leads to our long-waiting fireside chat. While our guest speakers are turning on their videos, I would like to invite everyone to leave your comments and questions in the chat box, so we'll be able to address them later. I know most of the audiences here attending are attracted by our guest speakers and NFT projects here. To begin with, I'd like to invite our guest speakers to give an introduction of themselves and their project. Can I see everyone? I see Leo, I see Ari, I see Tian, Frank, and Leo Ark. Please turn on your video so we can quickly start. For the intro, can we start first with Tigerchi? Tian, please. Oh, you are on mute, Tian.
Now all good. Yeah. Hi, everyone from all over the world. My name is Tian. I'm the project leader for Tigerchi NFT project. And this is an NFT project incubated by Chinese community on Algorand. And we launched around Chinese New Year in February time with a collection of 888 NFTs, hoping to bring the best wishes of a new year to people, to have a year full of positive energy and happiness. And at the same time, we wish to raise everyone's awareness of the environment and the animal welfare. That's why we closely work with a charity called Tigers Forever to help give wild tigers a wild future. And at the moment, we are in the process of creating our version 2, which is a wushu tiger. to introduce the Chinese martial art to the community. We always try to add the cultural element to our project so people can understand Chinese culture more. And I hope you find Chinese martial art fascinating. Thank you.
Wow, look forward to the Wushu Tigers. Ari, can you go next?
Hey everyone, I'm Ari, and I am the project manager of G-raffe, and I also am a PhD student at Princeton studying social psychology in the context of blockchain networks. For G-raffe itself, the first G-raffe was minted in October by Gisele, our creator and founder. She hopefully is listening, but it might be pretty late where she lives. In the meantime, I wanted to give a quick just shout out to our other managers on the team, Drew and Agash, who are both here. And I'm excited to chat with all of you about some of our future plans for G-raffe, as well as give you a sense of how my research interests might overlap with the NFT space and ways in which we think we can bring people together through social identity and education and knowledge sharing. So I'm excited to chat with all of you about that today and hear from the other projects.
Great. Frank, can you go next?
Hey guys, so nice to be here at first. So I'm Frank. I'm also known as the NFT Watchdog. I'm the community manager of TrailMArt. It's an NFT marketplace. We try basically to create a bridge between physical and digital art. So we try to bring as much as we can very renowned international artists into the Algo ecosystem, the Algo NFT space, because we really like the Algorand community, and so yeah, that's pretty much. I'm going to do a short introduction because we have more time to talk later. So that's it for the moment.
Thank you, Frank. Do we have Leo out here? His video is not.
Hey there, Ak. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, so me and my partner, the Oliphants, our background is in art, and we came to NFTs as artists, as graffiti artists, and our goal was to bring graffiti to the blockchain. That was last year, about a year ago, and it led to, we love creating different characters, and we created this cute little puffin, and that snowballed into a project that we launched on Terra back in November. And as everyone knows, Terra melted down and crashed last month. So we had an amazing 6 months on Terra and built a strong community around charity, conservation, and other things we can talk about today. But yeah, we are on Algorand now because when Terra crashed, we had to make a decision, and we thought that Algorand was the best place based on the community and all the people that we talked to. So excited to talk about that journey today and answer any questions about the PoppinPuffins.
Thank you. It's sad to say things happen with Terra, but it's very good to have you here with us. Again, welcome to Algorand. I think the community is curious that how have your project been settling in Algorand so far?
Yeah, well, we launched our shuffle last week, a week and a half ago for the public, and 1 week before that we had our migration puffins. So our first goal was just to bring all of the puffins over to Algorand that were on Terra, and that went really smoothly. We worked with Rand Gallery and Kraken, and it was a great experience. I think, of course, nothing is perfect because there's some compromises with transferring NFTs from one chain to the other, and we had to learn on the fly, but we wanted to move fast so our community could didn't dissolve and disappear. And I think we achieved that, and Algorand helped, and it worked great. So I can't complain about that migration. I think it's crazy, but it went well.
Yeah, I remember you joined the NFT Metaverse event held by Tigerchi before, and I just love the slogan there, Algorand, a planet we call home. And glad you found us, and we'll spare no efforts to support good projects like you. And also to those who hasn't yet found their way to Algorand, can you actually share from your perspective, your experience, what about Algorand attracts you most? Leo?
Oh, what about Algorand attracts us most?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first thing was the culture. That was the reason we made the decision, because in our DMs and in our comments, we just asked the communities, what should we do? Where should we go? Terra was melting down. We lost everything. We literally lost everything in terms of our financial, ability and the structure, all of the marketplaces. I mean, just everything except our community. We had our community and we needed to move to a new island, to a new planet. And for us, it was moving to a new island. And we heard all of these people talking in our comments and sending us DMs, and that quickly snowballed into interviews and meetings with leaders in the community. And it was just such a positive reception and helpful. I'd say helpful is the word. There was just people who wanted to help, and we were just in a bad place emotionally as well. And people were positive and wanted to help us, and it moved really fast. And it felt good. We were bipolar. On one side, we were completely destroyed and wanted to just disappear. And on the other side, we felt positive and happy that we were going to do something. So it was really strange emotionally. And that was the number one reason. And then number two, Terra was not a bad place for, fast transactions, really good user experience. It wasn't like Ethereum. It wasn't like other blockchains. So it was coming from a very strong DeFi environment. So we have high standards for those kind of things. And Algorand also, it felt similar, right? It's super low transaction fees, lower than Terra even. Strong growing DeFi environment and smooth, dependable systems. Obviously, Terra crashed because of a problem with the whole stablecoin mechanism. But in terms of UX and stability in transactions and fast transactions, that was a strong suit of Terra. And I think in Algorand, we feel a similar, there's similar functionality and similar technical, whatever, technical things. So it works out of the, it works and it works smoothly and it's cheap and it's stable. And so that's also cool. I think that's the second piece that we love.
Thanks for sharing. We expect to see like a better Algorand community with you. Actually, when we see NFT artworks because like artists is the core spirit of the NFT. Personally, I really like the design of Giraffe. So Ari, can you actually introduce a little bit about the designer team in your project and how they actually hand draw each unique giraffe?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think to start off, it's worth saying we don't have a designer team. We have a single individual who does all of it. GISELE, she is a phenomenal artist who is formerly trained starting in childhood doing portraits in real physical artwork, and only in the past few years transitioned into doing digital art. And she has a variety of mentors around the world who have helped her kind of hone her craft in graphic design. As for how the style of G-raffe got started, one of her mentors introduced her to Algorand and the idea of turning her artwork into NFTs. She is by default a nurse professionally. And so she started moving into NFT artwork as a side project and an opportunity to kind of continue her creativity aside from a lot of the stressful and difficult nursing work she had been doing throughout the pandemic. And so the first G-raffe style, called the OGG, is that kind of cartoonish comic book character looking G-raffe. And that was her first step into NFT. She wanted to create something fun and playful. But then as she got to know some collectors, they started voicing an interest in cleaner line work and a more modern looking giraffe. And so that introduced both the Special G and Last G styles. And the three of those collectively make the first G-raffe collection of our first generation in the project. Those kind of were three separate styles that brought together a lot of her portrait work. And then what most people now are most interested in are the Young Gs, the 100-piece set of really crazy, very intricate hand-drawn giraffes that kind of have this rambunctious kid all the way to fully mutated styles. And those she could spend anywhere between 6 hours in one sitting to a few months on some of the most difficult ones. So the process of drawing these and shading them and creating some of the concepts behind them could be anywhere from hours to weeks or months. And she put the same amount of attention to detail into every single one. And so I would say, like, in general, she's a powerhouse design team in the body of one. And I think we're really excited to see what she comes up with for our second generation, which will be a supernatural themed set of generative trait giraffes. And ideally, we'll be posting an entire narrative in the form of sort of a digital novel alongside of the project as it comes together and is produced.
Wow, that's awesome. Actually, imagination is very important when it comes to creation of NFTs. And when you asked me about the project with great creativity, I would say Tigerchi is on the top of that list. And Tigerchi actually was launched just in February this year. I was there and to see them starting from very young, but they yet has secured a very solid spot in the Algorand NFT space. I would like to ask Tian, with so many animal NFTs out there, what do you think are the core components to make an NFT project, successful with longevity?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the community because we feel extremely honored and blessed to be liked and well received by the global community. And I can't say we're a success yet because we're still young and developing. But from our experience and observation, to ensure the long-term success of an NFT project, there are several areas like one project needs to pay attention to. First of all, is definitely the art. The art would be the first criteria. The project should really pay attention to the details of the artworks, which is the first impression to the users. Yeah. And the second is a very dedicated team. And it would be very good to have like a very dedicated team to start with, and those people who have commitment. And it would also be good to have the team to be doxed in order to gain trust from users. And the next point is about delivery. Just like think carefully what you can do and put down carefully on the roadmap. And maybe don't rush to have something that we can't deliver and like overpromise. That's something like we are very careful about our roadmap. And then it's the community. Yeah, building up a community is not easy and extremely hard to build a very strong community, which takes a lot of time and effort. And for a project to have sustainable success, they definitely need to be open-minded and transparent and to build that community spirit to let everybody feel like welcomed. And speaking of this, I would like to add another point, which is about like mutual respect. Yeah, for a community, it should be open-minded and inclusive. And we show like respect to everybody. And we tell our like users not to use abusive language to anybody, to respect different cultures. I think those are the tips to ensure a long-term success for any project.
Wow, thanks. You guys are just great. Although with so many artists like find their way to NFT with the help from Web3 experts like you, Tian, and Ari, and Leo, but there are actually so many artists who are interested in NFT space but don't know how to start. And that's where TrailMArt come in as a bridge between physical and digital art. So Frank, from your experience, what is the major concern of the artists when they come into an NFT space?
So yes, you're right. Actually, many artists are getting interested by the NFT space because they can hear about it absolutely everywhere. We can see this in the news and everywhere. It seems like everybody is making a fortune. It's very easy to go and etc. But actually, it's quite technical for someone who doesn't know how to get in. So I personally been talking with several artists. I do that quite often, and I can tell you the first concerns that they have, it's how to do, and also why doing it. So when they actually understand the concept of NFTs, they understand that they can actually kind of create a warranty, a sort of certificate above their physical art, saying that, okay, if I sell you this piece of artwork, this painting, for example, plus the NFT, but then you have like a certificate of authenticity with it. And if someone wants to buy it from you, then you can show that you do have the NFT, you can transfer it. So you are actually the real owner of it. So they understand this kind of traceability, but also they are very interested by the royalties. They are interested to be able to, when you sell a piece of art during an auction in the real world, after all, the artist gets a royalty. And that's something we can do with NFT, which is cool. I shouldn't say too much about this royalty stuff, but there is something about Algo that is a very good argument for us to bring artists into Trilem. That's actually, you guys, it's in the pipe with Algo. There is the ARC 18, which is going to include royalties inside the NFTs, which is amazing. It's currently designed, so I'm not sure when it's going to be out. It's already in the pipe, so you guys testing it, I don't know. But that's another argument. But yes, artists are pretty much concerned on how to get in. So that's why us with Trilem, we get them into the space, either way with their physical artwork, which we digitalize and turn into an NFT, or with artists that are internationally renowned, who wants to create a collection. So they will create the layers, they will design everything, we work with them along it, and then we come out with a collection that we can generate, so like everyone else does, like G-raffe and Tigerchi, you generated it and you get your collection. So that's pretty much the concerns for artists at the moment. And yeah, it's good. It's important, I think, to have a marketplace somewhere in the whole space that is not only dedicated for everyone to come in and just post whatever they want. It's important to a bit focus also on the artists, because those artists will make what we call, like, I would say, the quality of the network of the blockchain. They will bring added value to Algorand. It's clear to me as a community manager, also taking care of the marketing and also involved in the NFT space, as trying to prevent scams to happen, to let people know about NFT scams that could happen, how to be careful, and etc. I think it's important that we get some kind of quality artists, that real artists that brings more and more awareness about the Algo NFT space, because so far I can see a bit of lack of marketing around the NFT space for Algo. I hear a lot now, many artists are telling me Tezos is cool, but I always tell them, no, Tezos, okay, Tezos is nice, it's cheap, but I always say, Algorand, don't forget about it. It's a PPOS. It's a pure proof of stake. No one can control it. There is other ways. It's also a negative neutral carbon footprint, and artists are really careful and really they consider this very, very much. So being negative, offsetting the carbon footprint, is super important for them. That's why I think most of artists now are leaving the Ethereum space. They don't want it. They don't like it so far. Maybe after the ETH 2.2, we will see. But at the moment, Algo, I think we need to bring more and more people. So every day we work out to get more and more artists. And, there is kind of, I would say, how can I say that? When you buy an NFT from an artist, what happens in the future with it? If your artist is getting more and more famous, if, I would say, I know it's bad to say, but if he dies, the piece of art increases straight up. His art in the real life, the art in the digital art, so the NFT, will increase in value, because we hear more and more about this artist. So he's getting more and more popular. So obviously more and more people want to be with him. So if you are one of the first to get his NFT, you have a kind of something very precious. So it's gonna increase in value. You kind of have, you can almost invest into NFT art from artists, renowned artists, the eye blinded. You can be blind, no problem. It's going to kind of warranty you an added value in the future. When we look at NFT projects, it's a bit more difficult. You really need to look into the team behind. You need to look into what's the advantage, many other things. But for art, it's different. You just look at the artist, and if you like it, and if you believe in him, and if you think it's going to grow very well and do better, then here you are. You're going to have a very good NFT, and that's what we bring on Trilem.
Cool. Good insights and good work on regarding onboarding artists to Algorand. Due to the time limitation, so I will just come to the last question for everyone. So actually, for everyone, can you please share with us the development strategy of your NFT project, and what notable milestones you have achieved to date, and also is there any plan for the second half this year? I think we can start with Ari. Oh, you're on mute.
All right, there's a delay with the button. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, happy to share. So in terms of our development strategy and sort of how we think about the project in general, we are focused on bringing a mature, professional, and educational environment to holders of G-raffe NFTs. That's both in our first generation that our holders are already very aware of, as well as the upcoming generation in the second half of this year. One of the other things that we care about is just sort of being the best in class in everything we do. And so GISELE plans to bring best in class artwork with everything she produces, just like Agash projects himself providing the best technology. And Drew and I are trying to create the best possible community and project environment for all involved. So when we think about our next generation, we want to bring this forward and combine some of our other interests in fantasy and science fiction and combine them with art and technology. And we think Algorand is a really great place to bring that interdisciplinary exploration. And long term, we want to continue building what we call the G Academy, where Gs can teach and learn from each other and bring experts together for them to learn from. I guess in terms of what is coming in the second half of 2022, we do plan to launch and drop our Supernatural G collection. And along the way, we'll be bringing together that sort of novel format of bringing a narrative to what will come from the Supernatural Gs. At the moment, we're about a week away from our first staking period being complete, which is a custom platform built by Agash. And people will be receiving their first Super Gem rewards, and our holders have been given some sneak peeks of what that narrative is and what the artwork looks like, and we're really excited to share that with the community soon.
Well, that's exciting to hear. Next, shall we come to Tian?
Yeah, sure. For us, we just finished our version 1 sales, and we are working on version 2. We started the journey 4 months ago, and we made a lot of mistakes and we learned a lot. So for our version 2, we are definitely going to focus on execution again and try to also engage the broader NFT community more. And previously, we worked a lot with ecosystem project partners. And our strategy for version 2 is to really engage with other projects. For example, we would like to invite some of our friend projects for a friendship, a Wushu championship to start with as a campaign. And also, we will try to deliver more campaigns in terms of charity, metaverse, to let people feel engaged. And this is our goal to really cultivate and build up a very strong community that everyone enjoys. Yeah.
Thank you. Frank, can you go next? Just briefly.
Yes. So what we're going to keep bringing more and more artists. Obviously, we are going to always keep this bridge between because I forgot to say, but artists also in the real world, they are bought by people that are from that could be you and me, but in the real world. So we need also to bring their client into the blockchain, so into the NFT space. So that's why we keep with Trilem we keep a system which is called the FMR Auction. So people can come and bet on the try to try to get one of the NFT piece of art. And for that, what is interesting, it's always rotating. It's always rotating. So we have like 8 to 16 artwork at the same time. And if someone click on it, then from 24 hours to buy, it goes down to 1 hour. Someone click again to put another auction above it, it goes to 5 minutes. So we're going to keep that. We have some other features in the pipe that are going to come during this next quarter. There is another thing I wanted to say. Let me check quickly. Yeah, no, that's it. I'm losing it. No, so yeah, pretty much bring more people, guys. That's what we want. Bring more people. And also one other thing, yeah. When we have a collection from an artist, we try to have within the collection some physical piece that people can win. It's random. They go on a shuffle or whatever. And if they manage to get it, they will get maybe a printed version of the NFT with an acrylic display, signed, numerated by the artist, which has even more value. So we keep these things coming up. And yeah, that's it. So hopefully we keep doing great. Hopefully soon we see this ARC-18. So even better for us. We put the royalties directly into the NFT. And we still also helping artists or that wants to come in. We help them. They are welcome. That's it. Voilà.
Great. Actually, I have been getting a lot of inquiries from local artists and like don't know how to start. And I think TrailMArt can be like their chance.
Oh yes, send them to us, no problem.
Okay, let's come to Leo. Any plan for second half?
Yeah, well, first of all, it was an honor to be here and meet everyone, and great projects on Algorand, and just love what I'm hearing. And our project can learn a lot from these great ideas. And yeah, I guess if I can sum it up in 3 things, obviously what we have done is migrated our project to Algorand, and that was the last month, and it was incredibly exhausting. And we're just happy that we survived, and now we're looking forward. And I think we just, number one, we want to create great art like these other projects as well. That's our core background in art. So we're just going to create new characters and develop our stories and our narratives, because we think that's kind of what unites us. And that's also what onboards people, what gets them interested in the first place, as an NFT project. So we're going to create great art. Number 2, we want to integrate with the Algorand ecosystem and all the other communities on Algorand. We really want to become stronger piece of the Algo fam. And that means working with other projects, collaborating, as well as doing more working in the DeFi area as well, applying our, the finances that we've raised into the DeFi system. So our members can also learn and come from other chains and learn about Algorand. And then finally, our goal is, to onboard users from the real world into Algorand. So we have live events planned, partnerships with brands and festivals coming up that we're going to be announcing. We're developing a mobile game. We're already in the 2nd month of that development. And what we're trying to do is create media and create live activations, as well as just real world pipelines to bring people from the physical world into the metaverse, use Puffins as a community, as an onboarding on-ramp to Algorand, when then they can discover the whole universe within. So that's kind of our high-level strategy. And in the next few days, we'll be announcing some cool things as well in terms of what we'll be doing in the rest of the year, working with a film festival to do our first big event in Iceland. And we're trying to bring as many people to that as possible. But yeah, just, I don't know, really exciting, and some cool stuff announcing in the next few days. And our mint is still going right now, our shuffle. So we're just trying to wrap that up. And yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Great, thank you, Leo. And I'm really excited for what's going to happen, like what's going to come in the second half of this year. As we speak, I noticed there are quite a lot of questions coming our way. I will actually pass the mic to Ronan for a quick open question session. Over to you, Ronan.
Thank you, Summer. I think just given that we're just about at time, I'll spend about 5 minutes to go through a couple of the questions, but I'll just reiterate, like, NFT at Algorand.Foundation. If you want to direct any inquiries or questions specific to NFTs, you can direct to that team. Jason mentioned when he gave his overview at the beginning as well that you can continue the discussion around governance on the community channels and forums. We do expect to share out a news item early next week that gives a full overview on the period 3 voting measures and voting results. So do expect that next week as well. One of the main questions, all other general inquiries, by the way, you can just send in to contact@algorand.foundation and we can route it to the respective teams. But if it's NFT specific, NFT@algorand.foundation, and then if you can also direct queries to governance@algorand.foundation as well if they're specific to governance, and general inquiries you can send to contact@algorand.foundation. Paolo actually has submitted a question here on the questions tab, and it actually was received in different ways on the pre-submitted questions that we received. And it's just a general, what's the best way to connect with devs, artists, and other people in the Algorand NFT community and space. So I don't know if that's for Shamir or Summer, or even the panelists as well.
I mean, I can give my answer. I think, you know, IRL, so right, in real life, events are back, whether it's a meetup or conferences like NFT NYC, is awesome if you have that ability. Otherwise, I think, you know, crypto Twitter, AlgoFam runs very, very strong there. I personally rely on NFT Explorer app. Shout out to them. ASAlytic, I saw we have some representation here. And you know, some others, Rand Gallery, AB2. I don't want to miss, you know, AlgoGems. There's some really good resources, but really NFT Explorer app just as an engine to see maybe some of the top projects, and then you can kind of reverse engineer the path. In terms of finding them on Twitter, finding their Discord. Discord is obviously where you're going to meet the community. That's in terms of existing projects. You know, in terms of new projects, I think you know, it's not. It doesn't have to be tied or specific to Algorand, right? Like I think the next step is let's take a step outside and let's meet creators where they are, you know, and artists where they are, and you know, let's have meaningful conversations first of all about the benefits of them onboarding Web3 and being able to engage in new ways with fans and definitely monetize their art and creations as well. You know, not to mention the benefits of Algorand in that context.
Thanks, Shamir. We received actually a lot of pre-submitted questions as well related to the FIFA partnership. So thank you for your interest on further details for that. What I would say on, given the level of interest on that, it's an actual Algorand Inc.-led partnership. So the Inc. team will share details in due course. So for any queries or further information related to the FIFA partnership, you should expect that from the Inc. team shortly. Tigerchi, actually I have one question pre-submitted specific to yourself. So what experiences from your personal life have driven the values of your project?
Okay, thanks for the question, first of all. Yeah, so actually now we are at a very early stage. The value of a project mainly comes from the early adopters, from their trust and confidence for a project to get going. So from my personal experience, as I'm from marketing background, I would say the way how I see things and how we operate, that makes most sense, would actually add value to the project. Like, first of all, we need to get the words out, yeah. So let people know like who we are and what we are doing. And we hope to drive forward the project in a few aspects. For example, we want to build up a positive, impactful branding and a vehicle to help projects outreach a wider audience with the right marketing message, and also a very strong community. So we continuously build our project branding around those areas. From time to time, we introduce campaigns, organize events, and engage with the community. And I believe if we keep delivering and executing, the value of the brand of the project will increase. And by the way, we're also actively seeking utilities as the added value to our holders. So in summary, no matter if it's a project as small as Tigerchi or as big as Algorand protocol itself, those are really the main things we all need to do. And also in order to add value to the project in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you, Tian. One last question, and maybe this is for Shamir, but just the future NFT vision for Algorand.
Yeah, so I mean, we're really working towards having Algorand become the financial infrastructure of Web3. And I think NFTs are kind of the key to that, right? So they're this key that, again, you can program, you can fractionalize, you can use it for access. It's just it's a true pillar, right? It's a true foundational, let's call it primitive for Web3. And again, the creator economy and the ability for creators to, as we mentioned, kind of take that leap. So, you know, when it comes to, I think Algorand, it's and the tech is there. We're looking to scale to billions of people. And NFTs are kind of they're going to play that role in terms of how we get there. The ecosystem's still small, right? So that's where, like, I have a warm call to action for everyone here. If you're familiar with the Algorand NFT ecosystem and its benefits, you know, please spread the word. If you're not, then I dare you to try it out. Again, I just put my Twitter handle here. You can DM me. I have a ton of NFTs that I would be more than happy to give away to newbies. All right, not the seasoned people here, but the people who are just looking to experience it. I really think it's a matter of trying it, you know, seeing that it works, and then, you know, on our end, I mean, from a technological perspective, and as these ARC standards evolve and the functionality increases and the utility increases, NFTs are going to be that bridge between Web 2 and Web 3, and Algorand is going to be that platform.
Thank you, Shamir. Just before I finish up, we have 3 or 4 videos that we'll showcase once the panelists leave, but one call out as well on the commentary section is just for future reference, is it possible to have closed captioning available? So apologies, I will look into that just to see if that's something that Livestorm offers and ensure that we have that moving forward for people. So I'll just show the videos, unless Summer, you have final comments you want to share?
Yeah, just thanks to everyone for coming today and appreciate all the valuable questions. Yeah, let's get the video going.
Hey guys, NFT Watchdog here for the NFT marketplace TrailMArt, the bridge between physical and digital art.
Hey guys, NFT Watchdog here for the NFT marketplace TrailMArt, the bridge between physical and digital art.
Hey everyone, this is Ari Dakovsky of the G-raffe project.
This is Ari Dakovsky of the G-raffe
Owning a
project.
G-raffe gives you access to a safari full of other Gs.
G-raffe gives you access to a safari full of other Gs.
Do we have more?
Hi, my name is Tian. I'm the project leader for Tigerchi. Tigerchi, a collection of 888 tigers on Algorand. Positive, energetic, passionate about Web3.
Of 888 tigers on Algorand.
Tigerchi rose to bring people together.
And that's our video, Summer. That's all 4.
Great. I think that marks the end of today's session. Is there anything to add from our guest speakers? If no, okay.
Yes. Maybe I could say quickly something. If someone from our audience is in Bangkok right now, we do have an event going on with Chloe Kelly Miller. She's a French artist, and the Gemini NFT is there actually, so you can have a look. It's at the So Bangkok, which is Sofitel, Bangkok Sofitel. So pretty cool. Go there and you will find your way. The signs are everywhere. You will see the Gemini and it's pretty cool. That's it.
Great. Be sure to visit if you're in Bangkok. Cool. I guess that's just the end of our session. And I guess see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
One last
Bye-bye.
comment.
Bye.
We're gonna,
Bye. Great session. Well
We're-
done, Summer, Ronan, and the team.
we're going to publish this on our YouTube channel, and then people had requested the slide deck, which we'll include in the description as well. So that will be available, and you should expect that by tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Shami, our team.